So I think we can start. It's 10. Welcome everybody to the first breakout session. We still have somebody. Sorry. Yeah, the first breakout session of the day, UI5 integration cards in action with Daniel Vladimov. Welcome, Daniel. So he is the product owner in control development teams of UI5 in Sofia. Got here from Bulgaria last night. Yeah, he and his team had been working in the last few years to bring the UI5 integration cards from an innovation frontrunner project to a major technology, actually, that is now being adopted by leading SAP products. My name is Ulrike Fempel. Still some people coming in. I work in the open source program office at SAP, and I will moderate this session. The session will be recorded, and you find the recording on the event app or platform and also on YouTube if you want to listen to it again. And we will have about 5 to 10 minutes of Q&A after the presentation and the demo. Now, for those who know the UI5 framework and controls, it might be a positive surprise to discover the almost no-code, just configure approach for integration cards development. So let's see how it's working, and handing over to you, Daniel. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, you hear me probably well. Welcome, everybody. Very first question, whom of you is already familiar with integration cards? Anyone to gave it a try yet? Okay, just few of you. And thank you that you choose to be here. I believe it will be interesting. So jumping directly to the topic. Yeah, these are cards. Maybe you know, cards as usual interaction as a way to show a data in a kind of rectangular limited space. So where to find the cards? It's an offering that is already out with, I believe, 3-4 years already. So you can find them in UI5 demo kit in the tools section. You probably know it. The tools section of UI5, there are several handy tools around, but one of them is called Card Explorer. And then when you get it, you will see yeah, this interesting separate page with a lot of things that are all about cards. And cards are directly to your eyes in the top right corner, something like that. You can show an object that may be an employee and the manager, so an object card, or you can show a list card or a table card or analytical chart card with some charts, etc. So generally speaking, cards are showing business data live, rich business data from the real backend systems on something that is, yeah, small in size, but has the nice rendering and gives an insight about the business object at hand at a glance. So yeah, I will show in the next minutes some details how you build such a card. What is important for the moment to understand, those integration cards are, yeah, just a decorative, or they come with a very nice and easy descriptor. It's a JSON descriptor that defines a card. It's nothing else. You don't write controllers. You don't write renderers. You don't write even the data access, data models, etc. You just describe one manifest descriptor file, and then you get the card running in whatever technology. So integration cards are also technology independent. You can consume an integration card from plain HTML page or from Angular page or from any other UI technology you have in mind. Okay, that is possible because there is one, yeah, here as for the demo purposes, and just to give you now understanding about this, but very simple one. There is just a manifest JSON file as descriptor. I will explain in details in a minute. And then you consume this JSON descriptor on your place. So it might be just a plain HTML, you bootstrap one minimalistic JS bundle, JavaScript module, that brings all the runtime and rendering capabilities for consuming the cards wherever. Okay, just that simple. What you can achieve this way, for example, could be something like a homepage that shows different facets, different aspects of something. Like, yeah, that's a homepage containing some cards. Like here in the drone hive company, fictitious company, there is something happening and you want to see the incidents for the last 24 hours or maybe by Q1 from production perspective or whatever insights or who is working behind the project. So who is supporting those incidents. So yeah, you can build home pages like that. And the data here can come from any product of SAP. So this is not kind of product fixed solution. You can configure through your manifest file the data source to be ES5, to be ERP system, or to be SuccessFactors system, or to be an Ariba system. Whatever data sources are welcome. Okay, enough introduction. To show you how it works, I prepared a little runaway show where we will create together. I will write it and you will follow me. One integration card, and I will show you how it is to be done very easily on the BTP platform. So my starting point is that I have an account in business technology platform of SAP. In this account, I have 2 subscriptions. That's the bare minimum. For my demo, I am using these 2 subscriptions. One subscription is for the business application, Dev Studio, Bus Studio, just as a code editor. And I will use my subscription to SAP Build Work Zone product to deploy at the end just created card. Okay, so I create it in the Bus editor and I deploy it to the SAP Work Zone homepage. And of course, cards are, as I said, yeah, it's a really minimalistic solution. You have a JSON file. You can edit it with whatever you want. There is no, obviously, very much requirements about this, but for sake of having some good helpers on the way, I start from the Dev Studio, from SAP Business Application Studio, where I have one dev space called UI5con 2023. I enter it, and I start now new project from template. Okay. Some leftovers. Those files are. Okay, new project from template. There are some predefined templates already with this version, or maybe since some time, there is UI integration card template here. So I just pick up this template and continue with it. So I have to give it some names. So let's say that will be my UI5con demo card. A namespace is important. Now it will be a table card. I will explain the different card types a bit later, but for the moment it's a table card. I will give it top server products. Okay, I will use one backend system now. It's a demo backend system. Top selling products from ES5 system, and I will show you how to connect to that system through a destination. Yeah, ordered by price. So I will get the products and That'll be fine. Okay, so what the Bus Studio is doing right now is spinning off a ready project for me. Typical thing with the Dev Studio. So now I have, as I said, a cart is merely manifest. So I have the manifest here. And that's pretty much it. So there is one additional folder, DT. I will give some words about it. It is design time configuration. So cards come with pre-factored configuration abilities. There are different user roles. Now I speak about the card developer role, but also as card developer through this design time configuration files, I can think about what I allow the page or space administrator to do with my card. So maybe I allow them to change the title, or I don't allow them to change the title. So all that stuff goes with the design time configurations. But most important thing is the manifest JSON file. And because in the Bus Studio, there is a nice integration for integration cards, I can right-click and already get a preview. So integration card preview, wow, hopefully it works. Yes, and we have a card. 10 minutes later, that's a card. And that's a table card. So you see there is a header area and content area, and there is title, subtitle, and there is a table. And now this card is showing some data. Because it was from template, you can imagine this is just static data. So let's have a look. Hopefully you see good enough the screen. What is the structure of the manifest? So we have one initial section with the typical app descriptor sections. So that is sap.app section and sap.ui, typical things that we know. And what's important is the next part of the manifest, SAP card section. So now there are attributes like type. Most important, that's a type table. So here we are doing a table card. And then the data comes directly afterwards. Now it is just a static JSON. For the demo purposes, that's enough. You see it's a wife. If I delete 3 of the records from this static JSON, they are immediately reflected on the right-hand side. But of course, I don't want at all to play with the static data. So how to make and that's mostly interesting. The header part is in a separate section, header. Here again, I can change now it's top selling products, and maybe subtitle is ordered by price. And that's pretty much it. This content row is just mapping, and I will now enhance that card to fetch a real live data from UI5 system. Okay, how to do that? Instead of JSON, I will now refer to a data request. Do it properly. And of course, I don't have enough time to type everything. So let's check it. From here, I have it pre-factored, so to say. So my data section now becomes this request. Okay, it has a URL. The URL points now. Yeah, it's a little bit jumping directly, but I will explain it. Via destination, I am getting all data from that ES5 ERP system. The method is get, and now I have some parameters like the order by in descending order. Where is the data source? Here it is. So SAP ES5 subdev.com is my backend system, and that is the data service path. And what I get out of this is this OData payload. So I can easily see that in this structure, I have main object D, and D results returns back some products with their prices, etc. Business as usual. So with this data configuration, I am almost ready to obtain the data. For sure, I need to get this part for the destination sorted out, and this goes into the configuration section. So I also copy paste this, the whole configuration section. Comes here. And now in the configuration section, I can do many things. It's all documented, but what is specific is that I introduce a key destination and give it a name ES5. And now this destination points to a certain destination in my cloud environment. So where to find that? Back to my cloud, BTP Cloud Cockpit, I have destinations. And one of them is the one that I put in the manifest. Okay, again, more or less the way how we handle this, because I told you, cards can show data from any product of SAP, and there is a need someone to ensure the mutual trust between systems and the course-enabled protocols to happen so the data can flow. That's the purpose of all this. And here, if I scroll down, I can find here ES5 UI5con destination that I am using to obtain the data. Now it's mostly fine. As you can see that in the preview, I have now top selling products. Still, I don't see the data. And the reason is simple. I just changed from static data to this request. Things are working, but here in the content, I did not make use of the data results. To achieve that, the content area shall become this one, and I will now do it simple. Copy the whole section. What changes? Now I just said the content data comes from this path in the payload I received from the data service. So that is the results. Remember, that is here this path, the results in the OData results I obtained. And then here now the row, the columns become linked via data binding. So this syntax here with the curly brackets refers to a data binding. Maybe again, something that is well known in UI5 world. That so with the data binding, I refer that the first column name points to a field in the data name. And the second is category. It points to main category name. And then the price points to price field, and the rating points to average rating. Okay, so now I really have top 5 selling products ordered by price. And the cart is live and is running. So good, we have now a live cart. It gets the data from a backend system and shows it in a table format. That's the power of this declarative way to express the cart. Now, to make it a bit faster with the time, Ulrike. Yes, I will now do some beautification, or just to illustrate what else one can do with the integration cards. So one thing is, for example, I see here a price column, but okay, I don't see an indicator. What is the currency? So is it United States dollars, or it's euro, or whatever? And integration cards come with some filters or some formatters, where you can, again, declaratively express that certain fields need to be formatted as a currency. Okay, so to make the price look like currency, I have prepared just the value will not go directly with the price field, but will be formatted. And the formatting looks like, okay, so again, that's the curly syntax, more or less. I am referring to the runtime, UI5 runtime with the function, and what I execute is format.currency function, where I supply as first parameter the price. Now, let's say I know the price is in euro, and then I give the formatting options. And then the result is, you see, there is a euro sign in the beginning. So that's how easy it is to do some fine tunings on the UI that the card becomes more clear. And the other beautification might be just to show you, let's say I see some ratings. Something happens with the data. Yesterday, these were different products here, top selling products. Maybe someone is really using and selling the stuff. But let's say this rating column, I'm curious to know, is a given product rated high or low in this card, just to make it a bit more lively and beautiful. So let's say I want the rating value to be green if it is higher or equal to 150, and then other color if it is not. So I can also do that. That's again to explain the power of this declarative JSON format. So for this rating, I cannot state attribute. I am doing here in the. And now what the state says is that 1.5 is good to adjust for the demo case. You see 1.50 become green. So how did I do that? With the expression binding. So here I said, let the state of this field be equal to, that is intrinsic one-liner if then else statement. So if the rating is higher than 1.5, then success, otherwise warning, and that's the effect. So I can now make that column, pointing out some important thing from the data. And to illustrate the other thing, and I will do it now, is make the card a bit more interactive. Okay, till now we see there is something that can show a card, and these are static data. Of course, there means if you need to integrate these cards in a system, you can make every row here clickable and navigatable. So there are different card types with different actions possible for them. A few words about the actionable cards. Maybe just as pictures, to not go in many details. In the Card Explorer, you will see the overview, and there are different card types. So, for example, you can see different list cards, and you see there are actions to them. So you can configure some actionable buttons, add to favorites, remove, or let's say actions that hold for the whole card. You find the actions or define the actions and the handlers for them in the footer of the card. And so on and so forth. So the table card has various aspects. The object card can show different, I skipped the analytical cards. They are usually really nice, and we support a big variety of different chart types. So everything that goes with these charts is possible to be consumed in cards. And The table card I mentioned, the object card can show different groups of object attributes, like these employee cards with contact details, company details, organizational details, who is the direct manager here, with avatars, etc. The timeline card can represent a series of events, like in a typical timeline. And there is a calendar card, etc. So there are plenty of different card types that are possible to be used. And I was speaking about making the card a bit more interactive. So this is what I'm going to show you next. What means to make it interactive? Let the end user decides what they see, right? Until now, there is manifest, it shows everything, it's nice, colorful, but how about the user decides what to see on the card? So for that, we have the concept of filters. And how to apply a filter for a card. Now, my demo case will be, I see now this category column doesn't really play a good role because these are top 5 selling products, but the category happen to be computer systems only. And I wonder how to make it a bit more lively and that I choose the category from a drop-down, right? So this is what I have prepared already, and I will spare some time by just, let me see which version I have. Maybe I need the 3rd version. I will get the without. So I am copying now slightly different manifest declaration. Okay, here we are. Now that is our new version of the card. You see the column category that was redundant, repeating the same information is moved away. I just keep the name, the price, and the rating in a nice, colorful manner. And now I have these categories in the drop-down list. And that's what the end user sees. Now I can interact with that. Let's say I want to see the top 5 selling software products I have in the backend, or I want to see the top 5 computer components, for example, and then the data changes accordingly. Behind the scenes, I also added some icons. They are now not rendering as real pictures. You will see very soon the real pictures, but just to know that we can also show some product pictures. And now the card become a bit more interactive. So how it goes, yeah, here there is some syntax, but I defined filters in the configuration path, filters with main category. That is at the end filtering by ID and name. Okay, no, that is the item definition. So this is what you see in the drop-down. So this drop-down select control here is fed by this filter definition with the value type, with the item definition, and the data. So the data for this drop-down comes again from a separate query to the backend to get just the categories. So here I have a data section for the drop-down filter with a data request, and the URL now fetches main categories. You see. So that explains how this works in real life. So I make one query, fill in the data filter, and then it plays together with the main data query here. Now the URL become a bit more complicated, just taking care also for the filter for the categories. You see. So I'm again consuming the same backend data service. It's still ordered by price. Now there is a filter with main category name equals to the one that is selected in the filter. Okay. It's a good, we have it, and now it's a bit more interactive and pleasant. And as the time progresses, and I don't want to use your interest, maybe it's time to go for the last phase, which is let's deploy this card to SAP Work Zone. Okay. I explained in the beginning, I am doing this from the BTP cockpit or from the BTP account of mine, where I have two subscriptions, one for the Bus Studio, which is pretty nice and yeah, well working for integration cards with the live previews, etc. But I also have a subscription to SAP Build Work Zone Advanced Edition, and I can jump to the instance in the Work Zone product to show you. I don't know, have you heard about SAP Work Zone offering? Yeah, so that's a place for yeah, collaboration, team collaboration, also providing home pages, insight pages in a very flexible manner by the concept of workspaces. So let's say a typical workspace, I have one prepared for UI5con 2023, and I can build a page for myself or for my team. I can be a workspace administrator and build this for line of business in my company, right? So I have finance unit who want to have a page for their purposes, and I can configure such a thing in this product. And I can place all different type of content pieces in such overview pages, so to say. Like widgets are already a wide number of widgets available, etc., etc. What I want to show, these are so-called widgets, interactive with certain functionality. My focus here is to show you how to consume an integration card, right? Because I developed one and I want to consume it in one product, in this product. Yeah, available cards. One can see the available cards in the administration console. If I switch to the administration console, and here there is UI integration with the content packages cards and widget builders. For the cards, I have several, so it's a kind of card repository. Available cards are coming here. And I can upload manually a card. For example, it's just a zip file with the manifest in it. And something like that. And there are several cards already deployed. So normally what should have been working is that when I'm here and I right click into the manifest file, I have at the bottom UI integration card deploy to SAP Build Work Zone. I'm a bit nervous about it because it was working since last night and not this morning. So sorry for that. I will increase the version in the hope that it will go now. So I do right click and then I deploy it. And now it asks me the new card will be deployed with version 1.0.4. I click continue. And it goes and goes and goes. Deployment was successful. It says like that. Fingers crossed. Should appear here.
You can think already about questions.
Didn't do this morning. Sorry, guys. If it is not appearing again and you saw no error message whatsoever, there is something in the console most likely, but I don't know what is it. And okay, so checking, no, bad luck doesn't really show up. Sorry for that, but that very card we developed should have appeared right here. I have a step to activate it, like it will appear not activated. I can activate it. So I have something left to show you from the last night. Here I have another version of a similar card. So if that deployment was working well, and tomorrow it will work, most likely, how do I consume it? So I have the card already in the repository. I switch back to my workplace. And here I can edit my homepage. Like here I have some space specifically for that. I click the edit button, layout editor. I can also adjust the layout here, but I am adding a widget, and that widget would be a card. And I have now top products from UI5 system. That's the other card from yesterday. Fingers crossed, yes. The preview is almost working. Let's save it and publish it. And maybe just yeah, that's the card. So woo! So you see, we have now that cards with the top selling products, with the name, price, rating. That's still without the colors. That was earlier version that I successfully deployed. But I also have the filters. And now you see that I developed the cards in a very easy, facilitated manner in a business application studio. And I was able to deploy it directly to SAP Work Zone system and to place and consume it in my homepage. So now the data comes from ERP backend, UI5, and that is cloud-based SAP Build Work Zone products. And you can develop similar cards with the data from SuccessFactors. By the way, this is what happens. There are some predefined cards that are coming and content cards coming from all different SAP products for a purpose to easily integrate and mash up on one home screen really nice, colorful business data from all different systems. How we are with the time? 4 minutes, maybe.
If we want some questions, then I would say thank you for the demo. It was very interesting. And I'm sure there are questions. I mean, I have one, but I can wait for it. Yeah, please.
Yeah, please use the mic for the others to hear.
Thanks a lot for the session. It was really interesting, and I think it can bring a lot of value to our customers. I have a question: if it is possible to integrate such a card into a freestyle UI5 application, how would it look like?
My answer is definitely it is possible. There are two ways, and now that refers well to the Card Explorer, because the Card Explorer is the place where we explain all the things, so to say, or we try to be as precise as possible. So in the integrate section, there is a section, let me find it, use card synapse. That was so consumption UI5. You can bootstrap that minimalistic bundle and just use XML view with the card element and point to the manifest, and that's it. If you are really running a page that is constructed with UI5, that is with the XML view approach, normal business, right? If you go, let's say, in any HTML, this is, as I said, you just bootstrap the minimalistic bundle for the integration cards, and you just, yeah, we have now here a custom component thing. So HTML like UI integration card HTML component in your HTML. And again, you give the base URL and the manifest file either in place as JSON, or you refer to another file, and then you have the card in any HTML. That means in any framework.
Other questions?
There was one on the
Thank you very much for the session also. Is it possible to use the app, the cards in the Launchpad?
Yes, currently the latest S/4HANA system is leveraging these integration cards. There is a product release already. I am almost sure about that, but have to check with to-do cards. That's and then great. Interest cards. And they are mixed with tiles now, but we have a future path forward to kind of merge the tiles with the cards. That's possible already.
Thank you very much. And another question, if it's possible, is the BTP required to use cards, or?
Not at all.
Not at all. Wow.
Not at all. As I said, there is this Card Explorer. it's also editor. So I can edit, for example, this card. Let's say this list card with highlighted list items. I can maybe just delete them. So you can directly develop, so to say, here. You see immediate preview. And all the rest, is as I explained. You just bootstrap the minimalistic bundle integration.js module, and you place it either with XML view element on a page or with this HTML tag.
So my question would be, you've shown the getting data in JSON format from another SAP system. Would that also work to get, let's say, data from another JSON format which is not coming from SAP?
Yeah, definitely. The integration cards. First of all, my demo was with OData, even more heavy lifting protocol, you know. But in general, cards are consuming any RESTful data source. So anything you have. Well, there was even one interested partner that did some WebSockets feeds to show in the cards. So that works with practically any data source.
Yeah. Thank you for the session. I have actually 3 questions. What would be the earliest UI5 version you can recommend using cards with? Because I remember some time ago when I tried to use cards on a kind of older system, it wasn't really supported that much. So what would be the earliest UI5 version?
Let's say the one that is released today is already good enough. That's really true. What was kind of preventing us a little bit in the past was this last mile that now I demonstrated. I mean, the good adoption in different layers, like in the Dev Studio, you have a support for cards. Then there is a card repository in Work Zone that you can consume easily by uploading a zip file. So, but other than that, cards are fully functional. Now there are some, I know some people are kind of conscious and say, but I am reading in your documentation in the Card Explorer, there are several experimental options. Is it meaning cards are not productive? Let's say that for some of the features, we really wanted to acquire more more input. So people using and approving that works well, because, you know, we are bound by our API definitions, and wherever we release something, we have to stick to it. But other than that, cards are really working.
Okay. So the second question, as you've mentioned the Build Work Zone, what about the SAP Build Work Zone Standard Edition? Can you have cards next to tiles in there? I
believe so, yes.
Okay.
Especially with the custom developed cards, you can upload them and consume them already with the standard edition.
Okay, that is great. Definitely gonna be trying that out then. And for the last question, so let's say you have a Fiori Elements object page, and one of your customers saw these fancy cards and they want them in there. Can you recommend this approach? Because most of the time you see cards in overview pages, right? And would you recommend including cards into something like an object page? And how would you do it? Would you have to like extend the whole facet, or is there any other way?
Honestly, these are 2 different concepts in a way. The OVP pages all revolve around one business data piece. So you have a customer 360, and you show all the aspects for that customer in OVP page, right? But that's one logical business object.
Yes.
While with this more freestyle, manifest-driven, declarative-driven cards that can consume the data from any SAP product, this concept is not holding any longer. So it's rather that you build a homepage with different data pieces in it, rather than OVP page for one data object. That to say, we are also looking into interoperability, or how to go further with the OVP cards. They really exist and look similar. One thing is happening right now is in the S/4HANA products. I'm not sure how ready they are to release it, but you can turn a certain screen into integration card of this type. So you can pick up directly certain aspects and decide on that transmission. I want this to be a list card or a table card or make analytical card out of this screen.
Okay, so to understand you correctly, you would even suggest going away from this overview page towards the Build Work Zone. Okay.
It's rather not, how to say, consistent to inject a third card into OVP page that shows arbitrary other data, you know.
But what about an object page? Just like say you have a list report and you have an object page and your customer would like to have a card there.
I am not quite sure whether that is easily integrated out of the box with the floor plans and with Fiori elements construction. I am not really
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions?
Following up on the integration of with the UI5 application, so I see that these cards are also based on manifest, right? So manifest have a version. For example, if so there was this mention that if these cards are used with an application that is so application which is so it's a freestyle application and it's using another version of manifest, does it really affect that these cards manifest and the apps manifest needs to be in sync, and also the UI5 version? Or
no, there is no direct dependency, just that our manifest is kind of instrumented with the standard part from SAP app descriptor. So that's just a prefix to our manifest to make this manifest understandable by some other layers of infrastructure around. But there is no dependency. Like, of course, we are going in synchronized releases. Wherever we change something in our manifest schema, we inform app descriptor colleagues and we release together. So that's kind of working.
Okay, but then if there's an already deployed app which is running integration cards and the apps manifest updates, then we have to also take care of updating the integration cards manifest and make changes there, right? So
yeah,
also make sure
as I said, for every monthly release we go in synchronized versioning with app descriptor and our manifest versions. So if you upgrade to a certain version, it will be consistent. So you don't separately upgrade app descriptor manifest from card manifest because they are always coming synchronized with the different releases.
And they also take over the theme of the running application, right? So if it's these cards, so these cards don't have their own theme, but they take over the theme of the application. If the application
the integration cards are themable in a way. Yeah, I don't have time to show, but you can supply the desired theme. You can say, I want the card to work in Horizon, dark theme, and cards will consistently change the theming. Yes.
All right. Thank you, Daniel. You'll be around, I guess. So if you have more questions, then grab him over coffee. And thanks for attending this session. If you want to stay here, we have another session soon. Otherwise, enjoy your day. Thank you.
Thank you.